There's also sorrow and new anger in Chicago this morning over the deadly police shooting of a 13-year-old boy. Officials revealed body cam video of the shooting yesterday, prompting a nighttime protest. Adam Toledo was shot and killed last month by an officer responding to an apparent shooting. Police say Adam was holding a gun at the time. The family's lawyer denies that, however. The officer, Eric Stillman, is on administrative leave during the investigation, and his lawyer calls the shooting tragic, but said Stillman was left with no other option. Adriana Diaz is in Chicago for us. Adriana, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tony. There's still so many questions that need to be answered. But just like in Minnesota, where protesters are demanding police accountability in the death of Daunte Wright, and that's happening near where Derek Chauvin is being tried for the killing of George Floyd, here in Chicago, demonstrators are adding another name to their calls for an end of police violence, and that is 13-year-old Adam Toledo. The images you're about to see are really hard to watch. We want to warn you, they are disturbing.
Now you want to say, oh, let's calm the city down. But when do you say, let's calm these killings down at the police department?
Overnight, protests in Chicago were tense, with demonstrators staring down police, still reeling from the body camera video released just hours earlier. Late last month, Officer Eric Stillman responded to reports of gunshots. A chase ensued as soon as he got on the scene, and 19 seconds after exiting his car,
stop right now! Hands! Show me your hands! Stop it! Stop it!
He fired a single shot that struck 13-year-old Adam Toledo in the chest. The boy died at the scene.
Stay with us, buddy. Stay with us.
A wider angle of the incident appears to show Toledo put his hand on one side of the wooden fence before turning. The police released this blown-up image they say shows Toledo with a gun. In body camera footage, a gun is seen on the ground. But in a freeze frame when Toledo was shot, both hands appear to be empty. Toledo's mother spoke days after the shooting.
They had a lot of options, but not kill him. They couldn't shoot at his leg, his arm, up in the air. I don't know, but not kill my baby.
Last night, Toledo's family attorney, Adina Weiss-Ortiz, told us the boy was obeying orders when he was killed.
Everybody needs to recognize that child was given a directive, he complied, he surrendered, he turned to the officer with his hands up, and then he was shot.
What do you make of the freeze frame that the police has released where they say this is a gun in Adam's right hand?
I see a blurry image of something, but I can't tell you what is in his hand. They can't tell you what's in his hand. At this point, we don't know what, if anything, was in that child's hand. And if I can't see it in the real-time video, which the officer was looking at him in real time, how could everybody say that he had a gun in his hand?
That officer had 0.8 of a second to determine if that weapon was still in his hand or not, period.
But John Catanzara, the president of the Chicago Police Union, said the officer was justified.
We do not have to wait to be shot to respond. The officer had every reason to believe that that offender was turning and pointing the gun at him.
That night, Toledo was with 21-year-old Ruben Roman, who has been arrested. Now, police say the gunshots they were originally responding to were fired by Roman. Toledo's family attorney says Adam was a good kid. He was a little timid. His family said he loved to play with Legos, and he dreamed of one day becoming a police officer. Gayle?
Adriana, thank you. You're right. This is a very tough case. This happened at 2:40 in the morning. Adam Toledo is 13 years old, out with a 21-year-old. And it does appear cops are responding to shots fired. Yep. Let's start with that. So they're going already sort of on heightened alert. He's running. That's true. And the lawyer's right. I can't tell if that's a gun either. But when you look at the video, that's clearly a gun that's on the street, behind the fence. It's also clear that he dropped something, and when you listen to what the police union said, he had less than a second, the police officer, to judge. I mean, so I think there are many cases here. I think it's a good time to remember that police are human beings too.
Yes.
And lately, you know, there's been a lot of vitriol against the police. I understand that too. But I also have to say they're human too, and he had less than a second to make a determination.
He was also in an exposed position, open at an alley.
Yes. Yeah. As Adriana said, there are a lot of questions in that case.